three of the world's most powerful Muslim-majority nations just united under a single security agreement for the first time in history. One of them brings something none of the others has ever had access to before: a nuclear arsenal. But this alliance almost never happened. A decade ago, these same three countries were on opposing sides of regional conflicts, and two of them barely spoke to each other at all. On August 7, 2026, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif signed the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement in Islam's holiest city. The pact states that an armed attack against any one of the three nations will be treated as an attack against all three. It builds directly on a mutual defense agreement Saudi Arabia and Pakistan had already signed in September 2025, and formally brings Turkey into that same framework for the first time. Think about that. Three of the largest Muslim-majority countries on Earth now bound together under one collective security umbrella. To understand how significant this is, you have to understand how bad relations between them used to be. For years, Turkey and Saudi Arabia were defined by deep mutual suspicion. President Erdogan publicly backed the popular protests of the Arab Spring, movements that Saudi Arabia's monarchy saw as a direct existential threat to its own system of government. A decade ago, Saudi Arabia and the UAE actively fought against Turkish-backed forces in Libya, opposing sides in the same civil war. Riyadh also viewed Erdogan as a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, a movement the Saudi government considered a serious political threat. Then came 2018, and the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Erdogan publicly accused the highest levels of the Saudi government of ordering the killing. For years afterward, relations between Ankara and Riyadh remained deeply strained. But regional politics has a way of rewriting old rivalries. By 2022, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman traveled to Turkey for the first time in years, embracing Erdogan at the presidential palace in Ankara in a moment both sides described as the start of a new era. Trade between the two countries grew rapidly, reaching $8.5 billion by the end of 2025. Defense cooperation deepened. Turkey sold Saudi Arabia advanced drone technology in what Ankara called its largest defense export contract ever. The old rivals had become genuine partners. So why sign a formal defense pact now? And why does it matter so much that Pakistan is involved? Each of the three countries brings something distinct. Turkey holds NATO's second-largest military and a rapidly growing defense industry. Saudi Arabia brings enormous financial power, control over some of the world's largest oil reserves, and has recently signed its own agreement with the United States to begin developing civilian nuclear energy. And Pakistan brings something entirely unique. It remains the only Muslim-majority nation on Earth with a confirmed nuclear arsenal. This agreement arrives at a moment of serious regional tension following conflict between Iran and the U.S.-Israel coalition, Houthi attacks disrupting shipping through the Red Sea, and growing uncertainty across the wider Middle East. Saudi officials have been careful to describe the pact as defensive in nature, stating clearly that it does not represent an effort to build a military bloc and is not linked to any nuclear ambitions of their own. Turkish officials echoed that same message, saying the agreement is open to any other regional country that wishes to join, and is not directed at any specific nation. Independent analysts note this is not a NATO-style alliance, and its practical military obligations remain deliberately vague. But symbolically and strategically, its significance is enormous. For the first time in history, three of the region's most influential powers, representing immense financial resources, one of the world's largest conventional militaries, and the Muslim world's only nuclear deterrent, are now formally standing behind one another. What do you think this new alliance means for the balance of power in the region going forward? Drop your take below.